see some map. Okay. Come on. So I was going to choose another image as a hero image, but when I see this, I just know I should use this. So like an artist poking out from the whole image and artist looking at you. So now, today we're talking about Nora Al-Badri, which is a great artist. And I want to do it a little differently because you know how these classic plays have 3 acts? We're going to have 3 acts for the presentation as well. Now, Act 1 is Paradiscipline. Well, my keyboard doesn't really like this word. Every time I type it, it tells me, you spell it wrong. And I was like, no, I didn't. So what is paradiscipline? We all heard of interdiscipline, but what is paradiscipline? It is made up of 2 words. Para means beside, beyond, and alongside. So with this artist practice, they really integrate these 3 areas. We call it a triangle of paradiscipline, art, tech, and culture. Let's see some examples. For example, in this one, which is Nefertiti bot in 2018, this artist make a bot out of a museum artifact. So the artifact talks to the viewers instead of the viewers seeing what is written on the wall text. The viewers can ask questions and hear the bot talk back to the viewers. So the museum artifacts are not they're static anymore. They begin to talk. And in this one, which is called RoboPoke, the artist play a parody on what is called the machine creativity, which is many people say, does AI have creativity? And let's see how it goes. So, you know, last semester there was a class where we had a discussion on whether AI has creativity. I said no, and some people objected it and raised their hands and say, no, you know, AI can paint, so AI have creativity. So I guess that person needs to see this video then. So all of the details are carefully calculated and then executed by a robotic arm on a blank canvas. And another one, which is Spherical Drop in 2021. It's an NFT project. I guess a lot of people have heard of them. And it's a remix of Babylonian map of the world, which puts the whole nation at the center of the whole world and think the earth is at the center of the universe. And the artist also plays a parody of having a 3D printing guide for those people who deny the existence of gravity. As you can see here, 3D print this thing and drop it. And that's why gravity exists. So it really plays a parody upon those flat eartheners who denied the existence of gravity. So that's a brief look at the paradiscipline practices of this artist. Now, Act 2, it gets more interesting, called Technoheritage. Also a combination of 2 words. Techno, technology, and heritage, which explained itself. So this is the bust of Queen Nefertiti, which is the queen of 19th dynasty ancient Egypt. You know, yesterday a friend asked me, "Do you spend your Valentine's Day with someone?" I was like, "Yes." "Is that a girl?" I was sort of, once. And the friend asked me, "Who was that?" I was, yeah. So, but what's important is Queen Nefertiti is the queen of ancient Egypt. But where is this bust located right now? Now, logically, we say, oh, it's Egypt, right? That's what our logical guess is. But actually, no. It's located in Berlin, Germany. How does that make sense? And also, what's more, the museum doesn't allow photography, so it's in a no photo zone. But you're in here for a treat. here is the 3D model of it. Actually, during the weekend, I flew all the way to Berlin to scan this. No, I actually didn't do that. The artist did it. So as you can see, it's a very detailed 3D model. You can see all the little cracks around the ears and around the head. You can even see through the materials and see through the colors. This is the artist project called The Other Nefertiti, which is done by the artist and another artist called Nikolai Nels in 2015. But maybe you wonder, how do they capture them in a no photo zone? So let's watch a video of how they captured it. Now pay attention to the detail of the video as they will come back later. So that's how they secretly scan. They hide the scanner underneath the scarf and secretly scan the whole thing. But why do they do that? Here's a quote the artist quoted. "Struggles for decolonization are first and foremost about self-ownership," by Franz Fanon, a philosopher. This is why they scan it. It's about self-ownership. And because, why do they specifically scan this bust? Because it has special meanings. It's a jewel of the museum. The museum has it all over their promotional materials, the posters, the banners outside. The museum treated it as an icon, the whole museum. But at the same time, the museum has no explanation of how it is obtained. How does it get from Egypt to Germany? The museum doesn't explain. And that caused some controversial status. Because on the one hand, Egypt argues it's illegally stolen. Give it back to us. On the other hand, Germany was like, no, you didn't file all of the things. You cannot get it back. You should file them first. It's controversial. And hidden behind there are some power structures of the museum. Because the museum separated artifacts from the context. It separated the whole Egypt queen thing from the context of Egypt and Egyptian history. Which means the Egyptian world is presented as the other, while Germany as the Western world is presented as the center of the whole cultural heritage. It's basically like we are Germany, and we have this thing from the other world we can see right here, but we don't have any context for it. It's representing the power structure, but the work of the artist tried to break this power structure by creating an independent digital copy. It's open for download and remixes, and these remixes, they never disappoint. And every time I wake up in the morning and see myself in a mirror, I see this. So these creativity community, they never disappoint. So because it's open for download and remixes, it's sort of like an original of the remixes. It's not anymore a copy of the original in the Berlin Museum, but original for all the remixes. So it's independent from the physical copy that stayed there in the museum. And it debunks the colonizing museum policies because the museum doesn't allow you even to take photos, but this one is available online. You can download just like I did right here. You can download, remix, and upload as your own work. And this will serve the original as your own work. And as the artist wants to emphasize on self-ownership, the 3D printed work is delivered to Europe in Egypt, in Cairo, and it is displayed and seen in Cairo for the first time, which is kind of sus. Because It is from Egypt and it's displayed there because an artist secretly scanned it. And as a continuation, the artist buried the whole thing in an Egyptian desert and hope someone will rediscover it in the future. How does the museum react? The museum loved it. No, just kidding. The museum doesn't. The museum was like blaming a lot on, oh, it's low quality and it's not authentic. And the museum was like, do we need legal actions? But it also spawned a trend of 3D scans and heritage. Because, yeah, I did that before. Before moving out of the dorm, I scanned the whole thing as a memory, to preserve the memory. And a lot of museums around the world, like British Museum, the Met, allows people and even encourage people through scanathons to use their phones to scan old artifacts to build up a public gallery of 3D heritage. And the artist also specifically mentions Iraq, because that's what the artist is from, which is a lot of the cultural artifacts are in danger of destruction. The artist said, scan it to preserve it for later. But as you can see, the quality of the scan is not too high here. How come the scan of the artist is so great? And that also raises doubt from the industry. A lot of professionals said it's not possible. Because earlier I said, pay attention to the video because something is coming back later. It's this thing, the scanner the artist used. Anyone has the Xbox 360? And know what this is? Yeah, it's a motion sensor on Xbox 360 called the Kinect. What's the problem with it? It cannot reach such high quality. I searched up a video online showing how a Kinect scans the whole room. As you can see, a lot of things are jagged lines, they're pixelated, versus this model, which is so high accuracy. And many of the professionals in a scanning industry, a lot of scanning companies also raised up that when scanning user Kinect, the view cannot be obstructed. And remember in a video, the artist tries to use a scarf to obstruct it and hide it from a museum guard. But when using Kinect to scan, you're not supposed to hide it. You're not supposed to hide your view, otherwise the Kinect is going to be confused. And the polygon count doesn't match up, because polygons are basically the little faces that make up a whole surface when you're doing a 3D scans. And professionals say the maximum polygon count they achieve with the Kinect is 600K. But with that Nefertiti model, it has 9 million polygon counts. And to add on to that, the artist expressed the vagueness of model production, because the artists sent all the data off-site. And the third party, when they turned up with the high accuracy model, told the artist, no questions asked. Don't ask questions. We're not going to explain it to you how we achieve it. So people suspected that the third party actually scraped the data from the museum themselves to make the high resolution image replication. So that is Act 2. Act 3, post-digital. So many people are saying we're in a digital world, but what is post-digital? Now this is going to sound a little painful. The artists use mainly 3 parts: machine intelligence, data sculpting, and non-human agencies. Wow, we're in CS 101. And machine intelligence, we're more familiar with that, with the generative AI nowadays. So I'm going to focus on data sculpting and non-human agencies. What are they? Data sculpting, to put it in a more art-friendly term, is sculpting. Imagine you have some Play-Doh that make an abstract shape. And most of the people cannot read anything from here. Now it's hard to talk to art people about this because we probably read something from there already. And if we go outside and talk to some other people, and like the business school, for example, they may say, it doesn't look like a spreadsheet. What's the A plus answer for them? Anyway, so it's an abstract shape that most people cannot read anything from it. But if you want to represent something, you take pieces from it, you manipulate it, and create other things out of the Play-Doh that you want to represent. So the Play-Doh is the original data set, and the artists manipulate them to taking something intentionally and making something intentionally and create the modified presentation version of them. What is non-human agency? Well, imagine a typical real-life situation where the elevator door is about to close. And I think we all experience this. And we run up to the elevator, hey, I'm not in there. And what's going to happen next? Of course, this can't happen. But based on the fact that we're still here, more likely it's the other way around. The door opens. And no human is actually telling the elevator, well, it's coded, but no human right there in the scene is telling the elevator to open a door. So it's non-human agency. Nobody is telling the machine you should do this at the scene, and the machine seems to have the intelligence to tell itself to do it. That's non-human agency. And these three make up the whole artist practice. Here are two examples. One of them is the process of machine vision, which is the Babylonian vision, and the other are the results, which is neural ancestral sculpture series. And they use a technology called the GAN. How does it work? So whenever we present an image to the computer doesn't read any image or any colorful pixels. The computer reads numbers. And the GAN models are really good at finding patterns within the numbers. And when the computer finds a pattern, the artist tells it to create a new non-existent images based on the pattern of the numbers the GAN models found within the images. And what are the original images? So the artist creates new images as the memories of old images. The whole GAN process simulates what the artist called the perceptual process of humans on images. It's the glancing, contemplating, and internalizing. Glancing was feeding the images into the model. Contemplating is how the computer understands and finds pattern of the model through numbers. And internalizing is how the computer tries to integrate all of the patterns it finds into new and non-existent images. And what the artists feed the computer model, the GAN models, are old images of carrying past memories. What are the past memories? As we talked earlier about the poor images, all of the images may carry the patina on leather, the chips on rocks or the cracks, the broken pieces, or many of the images are low quality. And these are a few of these images that are fed into the model. These are all of the museum artifacts presented in a museum. As you can see, most of them are chipped. They have cracks, and as you can see right here, the image is not so high quality. So these unique characteristics represent the old memories. The past represent what we perceive as our past memory, which is the time frame within the history these artifacts are existed or are made. And artists emphasize on the perceptual realm, which is not the exact image, but internalization of the whole characteristics of the image and making the new world through all of the archives. And the main point of these are post-digital as well as post-colonial. Why? Because who owns the data and who has the control of them? It's the museums that are data octopuses. They don't actually not only control the physical data, but they control the digitized data. They scan the work and they don't release it to the public. Most of them don't. So they're data octopuses that control the physical objects that are held basically in a glass cabinet, and also the digitized version, which is not released to the public. But at the same time, the artist creates replications using GAN models, using technology to make the internalized version of the perceptual version of images more accessible online. Because when you view it online, do you need a visa? No. Most of the time, you don't need to buy things online to view them, so you don't need a lot of money to do it. And you don't need to devote a long time to pursue a long trip just to see one artifact in one museum abroad. But there's a problem within projects like this, which is ethical concerns. Oh my gosh, these two words confuse my time. Okay, ethical concerns. Because the Babylonian vision and the other, the final results, it's too long, the name, is the artists used 10,000K images for training from 5 museum collections. But all of the images the artist got was from web scraping and crawling. Basically means no official agreement from institution. So there's some problem right here. And also this one, all the data are collected through privately scanning and hiding the camera behind. And I actually didn't present the whole quote on this one, but the whole quote also include their struggles to repossess, to take back, if necessary, by force, that which is ours unconditionally and as such belongs to us. But people may ask, is this stealing? Because no matter your motive, you're still doing the act as stealing. And can the utilitarian objective justify the behaviors of potentially classified as stealing? Utilitarian means max happiness for the larger majority. Does the utilitarian motive justify what are you doing? And can that be generalized to the whole population? Imagine if everybody goes online and scrape all of these data from museums. Is that good for the humanity, or is that too much? Is that carried too far? If everybody just go into a museum with scanners and scan everything, is that good for humanity, or is it not? But all in all, Nora Al-Badri, here we have a German Iraqi artist who does the practice in the Paradiscipline triangle. You can imagine art tech culture we had before, and who works with technology to preserve all the human heritage that could be destroyed, and who is basing the works on post-colonial thoughts and post-digital thoughts, and who believed in the power of institutions. Hey, that's not correct, right? Yeah, that's not correct. Believe in the power of internet. So, that's Nora Al-Badri.